The headline, like so many from the world of celebrity journalism, is designed to spark curiosity, perhaps even a flicker of judgment. Kelly Ripa opens up, "I'm not afraid to be the bad guy," in arguments with Mark Consuelos. To the casual observer, it might suggest discord, a power struggle, or the kind of dramatic tension that sells magazines and drives click-through rates. One might picture slammed doors, icy silences, and a couple locked in a battle of wills where one partner proudly wears the villain's cape. But to anyone who has followed the nearly 3-decade-long love story of Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, a partnership that has played out in the public eye with a rare and refreshing authenticity, the statement signifies something entirely different. It is not a confession of conflict, but a proclamation of health. It is not an admission of weakness, but a testament to profound strength. This single provocative phrase, "I'm not afraid to be the bad guy," serves as a master key, unlocking the intricate, hard-won, and beautifully functional mechanics of a modern marriage that has not only endured, but thrived. This exploration goes far beyond a simple article rewrite. It is a deep dive into the philosophy of partnership, the anatomy of conflict, and the redefinition of intimacy in the 21st century. We will dissect this declaration from every angle, examining the psychological underpinnings, the practical applications, and the cultural context that makes Ripa's stance not just a personal choice, but a radical blueprint for relational resilience. The foundation: more than a morning show and a soap opera romance. To understand the weight of this statement, one must first understand the ecosystem of Ripa and Consuelos' relationship. Theirs is not a love story born in quiet private corners, but one that has been forged in the relentless glare of the public eye. They met on the set of the soap opera All My Children, where they played star-crossed lovers Haley Vaughn and Mateo Santos. The on-screen chemistry was immediate and electric, spilling over into a real-life courtship that was, by Ripa's own accounts, intensely passionate and swiftly committed. They eloped in Las Vegas in 1996, a spontaneous act that set the tone for a partnership built on instinct and the shared sense of adventure. For years, their dynamic was perceived through a specific lens. Kelly, the effervescent, fast-talking morning show host, the queen of daytime, and Mark, the sexy, silent type, the steady, smoldering presence often portrayed as the strong, silent anchor to her whirlwind energy. This public persona, while containing elements of truth, was a simplification. It cast Kelly as the effusive talker and Consuelos as the stoic listener, a classic, almost archetypal pairing. However, as their careers evolved, with Kelly becoming a powerhouse producer and Consuelos seamlessly joining her on Live as a full-time co-host, the public began to see a more nuanced picture. Their on-air banter, a primary source of insight into their private world, revealed a relationship of equals. It is a partnership characterized by mutual respect, a shared, often self-deprecating sense of humor, and a palpable, enduring physical attraction. But more importantly, it showcases a remarkable intellectual and emotional parity. This foundation is critical. The declaration, "I'm not afraid to be the bad guy," cannot exist in a vacuum of insecurity or power imbalance. It is a stance that can only be taken from a position of absolute security within the relationship. It presupposes a bedrock of trust so solid that temporary discomfort or the assumption of a negative role during a disagreement cannot fracture it. Ripa's fearlessness is not born of dominance, but of the unshakable knowledge that the relationship itself is stronger than any single argument. Deconstructing the declaration, the many layers of the bad guy. On the surface, the phrase "the bad guy" carries negative connotations. It implies the antagonist, the one at fault, the source of tension. But in the context of a healthy relationship, Ripa is redefining the term. Let's unpack its multifaceted meaning. The bad guy as the initiator of necessary conflict. In many relationships, there is an unspoken dance around difficult topics. Issues are swept under the rug, grievances are left to fester, and a false peace is maintained to avoid the temporary unpleasantness of a confrontation. In this dynamic, one partner often becomes the designated conflict initiator. This is a crucial, albeit at a comfortable role. It requires the courage to break the silence and say, "We need to talk about this," even when you know the conversation will be hard. When Ripa says she's not afraid to be the bad guy, she is likely referring to her willingness to be this initiator. She would rather step into the ring of a difficult conversation than allow resentment to build. This transforms the bad guy from a villain into a guardian of the relationship's health. It's the emotional equivalent of being the parent who administers the necessary but unpleasant medicine. It's a thankless job in the moment, but it is an act of profound love and investment in the long-term well-being of the partnership. The bad guy as the holder of boundaries. A relationship between two strong-willed, successful individuals requires clearly defined and respected boundaries. These can relate to parenting, work, personal time, or interactions with extended family and friends. Enforcing these boundaries can often feel like being the bad guy. It means saying no when it would be easier to say yes. It means prioritizing the core family unit over external demands, even if it causes temporary disappointment. For a public figure like Ripa, who manages a demanding career, a production company, and a family, the ability to set and hold boundaries is a survival skill. By embracing the role of the bad guy in this context, she is protecting the sanctity and functionality of her home life. This is not about being controlling, it is about being the steward of the couple's shared values and energy. It is a proactive stance rather than a reactive one. The bad guy as the voice of uncomfortable truth. Every partnership has its blind spots. Sometimes one partner may be pursuing a path that is unwise or avoiding a responsibility that needs attention. To be the one to point this out, to hold up a mirror and say, "This isn't working," or "You need to handle this," is to risk being perceived as critical, nagging, or unsupportive. Ripa's philosophy suggests a commitment to truth over temporary harmony. It is the understanding that real support isn't always blind affirmation. Sometimes it is loving accountability. Being the bad guy here means having the courage to speak an uncomfortable truth because you believe in your partner's ability to hear it and grow from it. It is an expression of ultimate faith in their strength. The bad guy as the one who refuses to people-please at home. Many of us, especially women, are socialized to be peacemakers and people-pleasers. We are taught to smooth things over, to accommodate, and to prioritize the comfort of others above our own. This conditioning can be particularly detrimental in a marriage where authenticity is the currency of intimacy. The home must be the place where you can take off the mask you wear for the outside world. Ripa's statement is a powerful rejection of this conditioning within the walls of her own marriage. She is declaring that her relationship with her husband is a people-pleasing free zone. She would rather be authentically herself, opinionated, direct, and sometimes the source of disagreement, than a placid and authentic version of herself that keeps the superficial peace. This is a radical act of self-love and respect for the partnership. The psychological framework, the anatomy of a healthy argument. Ripa's stance is not an endorsement of fighting dirty or winning at all costs. Rather, it is a reflection of a highly sophisticated and healthy approach to conflict resolution. Her fearlessness is predicated on a set of underlying rules of engagement that she and Consuelos have likely cultivated over their 28-year partnership. The concept of secure attachment. Psychologically, Ripa's attitude is a textbook indicator of a secure attachment style within the relationship. Individuals with a secure attachment feel confident that their partner will be responsive and available to their needs. They do not fear that a disagreement will lead to abandonment or a permanent rupture. This security allows them to engage in conflict without panic or manipulation. They can be the bad guy in a moment because they trust that their partner's love is not conditional on perpetual agreeability. They trust that he will engage, not retreat. This creates a safe container for disagreement. The importance of emotional bidirectionality. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned relationship expert, talks about the concept of bids for connection. In a conflict, a bid might be one partner expressing a grievance. The other partner's response, whether they turn toward the bid, engage with it, or turn away, ignore it, or dismiss it, is a primary predictor of relational success. Ripa's willingness to initiate conflict suggests a deep-seated belief that Consuelos will turn toward her bids even when they are difficult. She trusts that he will engage, not retreat. This creates a safe container for disagreement. Moving from me versus you to us versus the problem. The health of any argument hinges on its framing. Unhealthy conflict is adversarial. It's me versus you. Healthy conflict is collaborative. It's us versus the problem. When Ripa becomes the bad guy by initiating a tough conversation, she is not declaring war on her husband. She is in effect saying, there is a problem that is affecting us. Let's team up and solve it together. This subtle but profound shift in perspective transforms conflict from a threat into a problem-solving session. The role of humor and repair attempts. Anyone who watches Ripa and Consuelos on live knows that humor is the lifeblood of their relationship. This is their secret weapon. The ability to deploy humor, even in the midst of tension, is a powerful repair attempt. It's a way of saying, I'm still here, I still love you, even though we're in this. This constant undercurrent of playfulness likely allows them to navigate their disagreements without taking themselves too seriously. The bad guy role is therefore temporary. It's a hat you wear for the duration of the discussion, not an identity you assume. The counterpart, the strength of Mark Consuelos' good guy. No one is the bad guy in a vacuum. Ripa's fearless stance is only possible because of the man standing across from her. Mark Consuelos' role in this dynamic is equally sophisticated and vital. His strength is not in a stoic silence, but in his ability